Today, we're diving into the KonMari method from Marie Kondo. And look, this is way more than just a technique for tidying up. The promise here is huge, that it can actually truly change your life. So, how does it really work? Okay, so let's start with a feeling I bet you know all too well. You spend a whole weekend, tidying up. Everything looks perfect for maybe a few days. And then, slowly but surely, the mess just creeps back in. So, why? Why does the clutter always seem to come back, no matter what we try? Well, Marie Kondo actually has a name for this whole cycle. She calls it the rebound effect. And here's the kicker. She says it's not because you're lazy or messy. Nope. The real problem, according to her, is all the conventional wisdom we've been taught our whole lives about how to get organized. So, let's break down this rebound effect. Why do our old methods almost always seem to fail us? All right, first up is the myth that tidying is supposed to be some kind of daily chore. You know the old advice, right? Just tidy a little bit every day? Well, Kondo says that's a total recipe for failure. Her approach is the complete opposite. She says you need to treat tidying like a one-time, all-out special event, a huge, single tidying marathon. And her logic behind this is just so simple and powerful. As she puts it, tidy a little a day and you'll be tidying forever. I mean, think about it. If you do it that way, you're basically signing yourself up for an endless chore. It never becomes that one big transformative moment. See, a slow and steady approach just doesn't have enough of a punch. But a really dramatic, one-time organization, that creates this profound shift in your mind. It's the shock, the sheer impact of seeing your space completely transformed that actually locks in new habits and stops that rebound from happening. And that leads us right into the second big myth. Her method just blows up. This idea that our clutter is just a storage problem. So Kondo says something here that's pretty provocative. She says storage experts are hoarders. Wow. I mean, that's a bold statement, right? It's designed to make you stop and really question our obsession with just buying more boxes, more bins, more shelves. And her point is that all those clever storage gadgets, they don't actually solve the problem. They just hide it. You're just putting things away, creating this illusion that the clutter is gone. But what happens? Eventually, all those perfectly labeled bins and neatly stacked shelves, they just start to overflow again. And this brings us to a really crucial idea. The real work of tidying doesn't start with organizing. It doesn't start with finding the right spot for things. No, the true first step, the one that everything else depends on, is discarding. Okay, so if the first step is to discard, that begs a really big question, doesn't it? How in the world do you choose what to get rid of? This is probably the most important question in the whole process. Other methods might say, oh, get rid of it if you haven't used it in a year. But Kondo's approach, it's completely different. And here it is. This is the simple but totally profound idea at the heart of her entire philosophy. The best way to choose is to ask if keeping it will make you happy. You literally take each item in your hand, one by one, and ask yourself a single question. Does this spark joy? And if it's a heck yes, you keep it. If not, you thank it for what it did for you and you let it go. Do you see the shift there? It's huge. The question is no longer what should I get rid of, which feels negative, right? Instead, it's what should I keep? You're focusing on the positive. The whole goal is to surround yourself only with things that you truly, deeply love. So, what does this actually look like in practice? Well, the process is super specific. First, you discard everything you're getting rid of. Then you sort by category, not by room. This is key. You gather every single piece of clothing you own, for example, from all over the house and put it in one giant pile. It's a lot. This forces you to see just how much you have. And only then do you pick up each item one by one and ask that all-important question, does this spark joy? You only keep the things that do. And get this, the order you do this in is also really important. You start with clothes, then books, then papers, then komono, that's a Japanese word for all the miscellaneous stuff, and you finish with sentimental items. Why that order? Because it's designed to be like a workout for your decision-making muscle. You start with the easiest stuff, clothes, and by the time you get to the really tough things, like sentimental items, your joy-sensing ability is sharp and you're ready to go. And this is why sorting by category is so powerful. It forces you to face reality. Here's a crazy story from one of her clients. The client gathered up all her cotton swabs from every bathroom and closet and discovered she had a stockpile of, wait for it, 20,000 of them. 20,000. That's like a 55-year supply.
It's just a perfect example of how easily we can pile things up without even realizing it.
So you can see this process is about so much more than just having a clean room. This is where we get to the life-changing magic part of it all.
Think about it. When you handle every single thing you own, you're not just dealing with objects. You're confronting your past, your old habits, past decisions, the attachments you formed. So tidying your house isn't just about cleaning. It's really about putting your past in order. And once you do that, you get this incredible clarity about what you actually need and what you really want moving forward in your life. And the ultimate goal of this whole marathon is to hit what Kondo calls the just right click point. Now, this isn't about hitting a certain number of items. It's a feeling. It's this moment where everything just clicks. You suddenly feel deep down that you have the perfect amount of stuff to live your life comfortably. And she says that once you feel that click, the desire to just buy more stuff and accumulate more, it just goes away. And this final quote really sums up the whole spirit of the KonMari method. It says, "The space in which we live should be for the person we are becoming now, not for the person we were in the past." It's all about looking forward.
So in the end, this whole thing is less about tidying and way more about self-discovery. Kondo says that so many of her clients, after they finish this tidying festival, they find the clarity to do amazing things. Change careers, start a new passion project, or just feel more confident in who they are. Because by choosing what to keep in their homes, they end up discovering what's truly precious to them in their lives.
So, the big idea here is that tidying your space is really a way of tidying your life. It's all about consciously choosing the things and really the values that you want to surround yourself with. Which leaves us with one final big question for you. What would you discover if you truly put your house in order?